Just a few weeks removed from the annual Iron Bowl clash on the football field, Auburn and Alabama square off again tonight in gymnastics as the 15th-ranked Auburn Tigers play host to 6th-ranked Alabama here at Beard East Memorial Coliseum on the campus of Auburn University. Hello, everybody. I'm Mickey Shaddricks, joined by former Auburn gymnast Courtney Puckett-Orris. And Courtney, big meet tonight, always when these two teams square off. But let's talk about where the advantage lies tonight. Auburn started off their season with a win over Illinois Chicago, best opening day performance ever. Alabama's participating in their first meet. Where's the advantage lie?
Well, the advantage actually lies on Auburn's favor. They've already had that one meet just to get out that first meet jitters for the freshmen, especially who are competing, and just get that boost of confidence after their first meet and a big win. And it actually was a career high for Auburn on their first opening meet of the season. And with Alabama, you know, it's their first meet, so it's up to the freshmen to pull it along as well as the seniors to be a leader of the first meet and where they want their standings to be at the end of the meet.
Well, it'll be a challenge for Alabama on the road tonight. Another challenge for the Tide will be dealing with injuries. Talk about that aspect of tonight's meet.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's been 3 injuries that's happened with Alabama's team, and Cassie Price and Casey Overton have suffered injuries all throughout preseason, and so you'll only see them tonight on one of the events. And then unfortunately, Kayla Hoffman had shoulder surgery during preseason, so she's looking to get strong and get healthy and then get put back into the season, into the lineup during the season.
Well, let's talk about another subject that may be a sore subject with Auburn fans, and that's the fact that Alabama's dominated this series for a long time. As a matter of fact, Alabama's won 95 straight, dating back to 1979. But a lot of Auburn fans think this may be the night they get it done. What do you think?
Well, you know, anything could happen, and it all boils down to Alabama ending on the beam. And you'll hear it at every meet versus any team that beam makes or breaks the event, makes or breaks the meet as well. So tonight should be a big show, and we'll hope for the best.
Well, and we'll leave with this thought. As you know from your years of performing here, whenever you attend a university event on the Plains, a sporting event, you always see a lot of orange. We'll see that at the Coliseum tonight, but we'll also see a lot of pink. What's that about?
Well, tonight is a pink meet for supporting breast cancer awareness and trying to raise money for breast cancer. So you'll see Alabama and Auburn in pink leotards tonight instead of their typical team colors.
Well, a couple of firsts tonight. First time in 3 years Alabama has opened its season on the road. First time in 13 years Alabama has opened its season at Auburn. It's Auburn versus Alabama. What more needs to be said? Coming up next on CSS.
I'm here with Auburn's head coach, Jeff Thompson. Jeff, great start to your season last week. Confidence booster for the girls. I think you quoted that they were on a high during this week in the gym. What are you looking to see them bring into the meet tonight?
Well, Courtney, what we've talked about all week is the girls just doing their job. Whether you're pulling the board, moving the mats, doing one event or doing 4 events, if you do your job, then everybody's going to do well. You do your job, we're going to get good scores. If we get good scores, we got a shot at winning, and that's something we haven't done against Alabama in 30 years.
Well, talking about that, the streak that Alabama has over you guys, what was your motivational talk and your pep talk in the locker room with the girls before they marched out tonight?
I just gave it to you. Do your job. That's all they got to do. That was the speech.
All right. Well, good luck tonight.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Courtney. Let's get you right to the action with Auburn's Allison Sandusky on vault.
Just competed a round of entry vault with a half front layout, slight hop on the landing. Let's take a look at it again. A little short on that landing, so it takes a little hop back, but great stop for Auburn on vault.
Now to the bars with Alabama's Ricky Lebergen.
It's important, the first competitor on each event, just getting the team off to a solid start, setting the pace, setting the tone for that event. Just did a combination move. Showing nice handstands. Getting ready now for her dismount. Getting speed into the Giants and does a full in, back out, great landing. Let's take a look at it again. Knees are together in the air, slight step. Better than that, great start for Alabama on bars.
Now back to the vault with Auburn's Lauren Brostowski.
Lauren just did a Yuchenko full. Showed a little bit of out of control in the landing and a little bit of pike down. Nice and powerful.
And here's Alabama on the bars, Brittany McGee.
Then he just did a Tkachev, which is a major requirement to show a release move on bars. On bars, what you want to look for is the girls showing vertical moves on their handstands. Toes together, feet together, no form breaks, body positions in the air. And that was pretty much a flawless routine. Here's again her dismount, giant full into a double tuck, dismount.
And now to the vault, the Auburn Tigers, Kylie Shields.
Kylie's a freshman and has started off great for the Auburn Tigers. Here's again her vault, Yuchenko full. Slight pike down, chest a little bit forward. Something they'll work on this upcoming week.
And the Tide now sending Cassie Price to the bars.
This is the only event you'll see from Cassie tonight. She's been battling an injury during preseason, but hoping to get strong during her physical therapy and get back into the lineup for the rest of the season. Get ready for a dismount right here, double layout, and stuck that landing. It's real important to stick the landings. The landings are just, you don't want to give the judges any deductions, and the landing especially just adds a deduction to your score.
And back to the vault, here's Auburn's Chrissy Voss.
Chrissy just did a half front layout. You'll see the majority of the vaults are a round-off entry where they're doing a round-off off the vault runway that can't spring onto the horse.
And Alabama's Geraldine Stack Eaton tries to continue the momentum for the Tide on the bars.
So Tkachev into a pack salto. So it's a bonus combination that she just earned. Every routine starts at a 9-5. And it's up to the gymnast to earn their difficulty through different bonus combinations. You look again at her dismount, double tuck. Simple dismount, but clean.
And now back to the vault. Here's Auburn's talented gymnast, A.J. Mills.
AJ is very powerful, as you can see. Just a dynamic vault, huge off the horse, great block, great height. Just a little slight hop on the landing.
And a good look at Alabama's Morgan Dennis as she takes her turn on the bars.
Morgan's a huge name for the Alabama Crimson Tide team. Just a strong competitor. She competed 58 routines in last year's season, so definitely a strong gymnast for them. Good routine so far. Real short on that handstand. Again, that's a deduction. Dismount here, double front. The double front here is a blind landing, so it's important knowing where you are in the air so you can spot your landing to avoid any deduction.
And to the vault, young lady you're familiar with, Courtney, Lindsay Puckett.
Yes, my sister. Great vault performed by her. Look at the crowd getting excited as well as she. Huge vault here. Yuchenko full. Good form in the air. Great stick.
And we wrap up the bars with Alabama's Ashley Priest.
Not only is it important for the first girl to set the tone, but the anchor on each event, it's important just to wrap it up and try to get that high score to add to the team's event. Good combination there. Okay, right here, she just had a little bobble. She's supposed to do actually a half pirouette, but she covered up the mistake very well. Any mistakes you have, you try to disguise them from the judges so they don't, do deduction. Here's a dismount, double layout, piked it down slightly so it caused her to have that hop forward.
And a good start for both teams. We'll continue with our coverage from Auburn, Alabama in just a moment right here on CSS. And we're back, rotation number 2, Alabama on the vault, and Ricky Lebergan.
Just competed a Yuchenko full. Step back on that landing. You know, as we were mentioning, it's the first meet, so they're just going to work out those kinks in the gym, working on the landings especially.
And here's Chrissy Voss of Auburn getting the Tigers' turn started on the bars.
Just did a giant full into the Tkachev. Great job showing those handstands into a bail. something that I know the Auburn team's really working hard on is showing the handstands and working on the stuck dismounts. Great momentum into the dismount. Great start for Auburn.
And to the vault, here's Alabama's Alyssa Chapman.
Alyssa just did a souk full. Not a vault that you see too often, especially on this new horse. But performed it well.
And Auburn on the bars, Carmen Nelms.
Carmen just did a giant half into a piked Jaeger. Now into a shoot over. This is the only event that Carmen competed last year, but we'll see her again tonight on the floor. Dismount here, double layout, slight step. You'll notice Kurt Hettinger, who is actually Auburn's new assistant coach. This is his first season with them. He spent 5 years at Kent State, and Auburn's glad to have him with them.
Geraldine Stack-Eaton for Alabama taking her turn at the vault.
Again, Yuchenko full. The Yuchenko full, you're seeing a lot of girls compete. The start value starts at a 10-0, so and it's a good vault for them, especially on this new horse.
And back to the bars with Auburn's Allison Sandusky.
Allison is a freshman for the Auburn team. Right here, giant blind into a pike Jaeger. Great form, showing those handstands. Get ready for the dismount here, giant full into a double tuck. Giant full was a little slow getting around here. There again is her release move. Just getting that bonus for her routine.
And Megan Mashburn of Alabama at the vault.
Megan just performed a handspring front pike half. Important to get a good block off the horse. Chest is a little low on the landing.
And now here's Kendall Swartz of Auburn at the bars.
Auburn's really had a solid performance tonight on the bars. Just beautiful form, very clean, showing the landings. Majority of their dismounts have been stuck. Huge pack salto right there, very pretty. Just really clean lines on bars. Going through the dismount here, toe hand into immediate toe front with a half. A little bit of a combination move there. Here again is the toe hand. And then the toe front half twist, which is a great dismount because you can see the landing the entire time.
And shift back to the vault. Here's Alabama's Brittany McGee.
Brittany's performing a Yuchenko full again. Just seeing those steps. Again, every 10th of the deduction on the steps really adds up from the ultimate team score. And as we know tonight, it's going to be neck and neck, really close.
Lindsay Puckett of Auburn now on the bars.
Giant full into another giant full. Giant half into immediate shoot over handstand. Into up catch high. Getting some speed right here, momentum to the dismount, huge double layout, and another stick for Auburn. Good form, good body position in the air. You'll notice her feet separate slightly right there. Depending on whether or not the judges saw it or not, we'll see if she gets a deduction.
And here's Alabama's Morgan Dennis taking her turn at the vault.
Again, another Yuchenko full performed by Alabama. I've seen a little bit of the vaults tonight pike down on the landing. I don't know if that's nerves or what.
And we wrap up rotation number 2 with Auburn's A.J. Mills on the bars.
A.J., her release move there, which was a Jaeger, pike Jaeger into immediate shoot over. A little low on that shoot over, just kind of scooching over the bar. Dismount here, double layout. Great, great finish for Auburn. You can see Kurt very excited for his Tigers. Right there, that shoot over was just, she would want to get a little more height on clearing the low bar.
And the competition is tight as we are halfway home. Coming up, an interview with Alabama's Sarah Patterson as our coverage of gymnastics continues on CSS.
I'm here with Alabama's head coach, Sarah Patterson. Sarah, great 2 events for your first meet on the road of the season. Unfortunately, I know you have a lot of injuries. We've seen some new faces tonight. Are you proud of your girls? How do you feel the first 2 rotations have gone?
Well, I really think for the first 2 rotations, we couldn't have done a better job. We've got some people out of the lineup. We knew that going into the season. It'll be a little bit later that we're going to be stronger, but I couldn't be more proud of our first 2 rotations.
Now, obviously tonight's the pink meet. Both teams are in the pink, and we know your passion for the awareness and the cure. How did you use gymnastics as your outlet? What gave you the idea?
Well, I started 5 years ago. This will be the 5th annual pink meet that we have in Alabama, and it was because I didn't pass my own mammogram, and I had the best of health care, and I just knew that I wanted to use my position at the university and also the forum of gymnastics with all the fans that we have. And you know, it's just so neat to see how it's spread. It has gone not only from women's gymnastics, it's in volleyball, softball, men's basketball, and I am truly in awe of how people have embraced this.
Yes, it's been amazing. Well, congratulations for tonight, and good luck for the rest of your 2 events.
Thank you, and you look great in your pink.
Thanks, you too.
All right, thanks, Courtney. We begin rotation 3 with Auburn on the beam with Lauren Brostowski. And Courtney, I know the pink meet has a special place in Coach Patterson's heart.
It does. Like she mentioned that she herself did not pass her first mammogram, and so she just wanted to raise awareness for all the other women out there who might have been in the same boat that she was in, which is great because from here, she started in 05 like she mentioned, and now lots of other sports and schools are actually doing the same thing, just trying to raise awareness. And it's fun wearing pink. What girl doesn't like wearing pink? And it's something different than their regular school colors. Back to beam here. Great start for Auburn, just kicking them off. Beam is just that event where any nerve that is in you, it can show through any kind of wobble. So it's just important to stay calm and pace yourself throughout the routine. Here's our dismount, round of 1.5. Now in beam, the dismount has to be a C level value or higher. In gymnastics, the skills from difficulty is from A to E.
And while Auburn is taking its turn at the beam, Alabama now on the floor, starting off with Brittany McGee. And I tell you, Courtney, the floor always seems to be a fan favorite, doesn't it?
It is. It's a crowd pleaser. The music's loud. You get to show your personality. You get to have fun dancing to the music. And it's all about entertaining the crowd and the judges and trying to distract the judges from taking any form of deductions, just trying to distract them and have them be so entertained in your routine that they forget to deduct. That Tony pass right there was a front layout, front full, front tuck, which is her double salto combination. On floor, the requirements, you have to have a minimum of 2 tumbling passes that have 3 skills or more. You have to have a full turn and of some form of a leap or jump combination. The judges also like to see you, the gymnast, to use the entire floor. Getting ready for her last pass here, double pike. Solid start for Alabama on the floor. They really need to pick it up here because they were slightly behind going into this 3rd rotation.
And now back to the beam with
a front tuck changement jump. And on beam, you have to obviously mount and dismount the beam. The combination or the requirements, you have to have a series combination with some form of flight, which means a flip in the air. You have to have a down on the beam pose. You have to have a full turn and as well as a leap combination. And not to mention the beam is 4 inches wide. So if you put your 2 feet together, they would not fit on the beam.
Even to a novice, this clearly looks very difficult.
It is. Beam requires a total different focus zone that you have to be in. You just have to narrow in. If the crowd gets in a roar, you can't let your heart rate get up. You can't let the adrenaline rush. You just have to stay calm and stay poised so you stay on the beam with no wobbles. Just not there, round off double full. Her feet are slightly on the side of the beam and those legs crossed in the air, but she covered it up very well.
And back over to the floor with Alabama's Alyssa Chapman.
This is Alyssa's first debut of her career competing tonight here in Auburn. Opened up with a double pike. Right there you saw her stumble a little bit out of the tumbling pass. You have to show complete control when you land every pass. Your feet can't move, they can't bobble, or else it's a deduction. Here's her second pass for handspring front full, front tuck. And like I mentioned, tonight is the first meet for Alabama of their season. So any problems, mistakes, minor issues that maybe they had on any of their routines, they'll just go back into the gym and work out those kinks and chug along for the next meets. But it's real important in gymnastics not to peak too early. The peak time really is at SECs and regionals and, of course, NCAAs. Everyone wants to win the national championship. So it's kind of normal to see a few little bobbles in the first meet. Not that you want it, but it's good just to work them out.
And we head back over to the beam now, and Auburn's Rachel Ennis.
Rachel is a dynamic and powerful gymnast for Auburn. Her lead pass there was a switch leap double stag jump, and you noticed her head actually went back, so she lost sight of the beam. Series was a front aerial back tuck. It shows forward skill as well as a backward skill.
Incredible balance. It's amazing.
Yes, it's lots of routines in the gym to just get that consistency, to build the confidence. Beam, I would say, is an event of confidence. You can have the skills, you can be able to perform, but it's all about the confidence of knowing that you can hit it and pretty much owning the routine. Dismount here, back handspring to take gainer full. See her teammates cheering her on as a sigh of relief. This move right here, if it's done correctly, what she does not hurt. You hear the fans sigh like it was a mistake, but it was all choreographed in her routine.
Well, from the beam back to the floor in Alabama's Ricky Lebergren, and just two contrasting situations here. And I got to ask you, is I would assume that a lot of gymnasts enjoy the floor, maybe more than the others. Is that the case? As a former gymnast, you should know.
I would say so. You can't let loose on floor. You still have to stay focused, of course, but I wouldn't say it's as nerve-wracking as, of course, the beam or bars, because any mistake that you make on either one of those vents, you're off, or something is truly messed up and you have to make up for it. On floor, you have to stay within bounds, meaning you have to stay on the blue. You can't step out into the white. But other than that, it's just having the endurance to make it through the entire routine and making all your tumbling passes correctly how they're supposed to be. But it's just a fun event just to kind of let loose and have fun. Right here, getting ready for her last pass. Double pike. A little short on any backwards tumbling. You want to show the lunge stepping backwards to show completion of the skill. In front tumbling, you want to see the momentum going forward and lunging forward to show completion of the skill. Some fun dance moves here, fun choreography.
And now we shift back to the beam with Auburn's Kylie Shields.
Auburn's really nailed beam tonight. We really haven't seen any flaws, any mistakes, not even what you call little balance checks, and those are just little bobbles that might show sign of nerves or lack of focus. They really have just looked solid tonight on the beam. Her series there was a handspring layout.
Notice her teammates cheering her on in every move. That's got to be encouraging.
It is. It's nice to have your teammates behind you, supporting you, encouraging you. It really gets you pumped up. But that's what teammates are for, just to be behind you 100%. That was a torsion half. Very difficult skill to perform on the beam. Dismount here. Doing a round off into a double full dismount. Do this torsion full again. Very nice.
And now back to the floor. Alabama sending freshman Jocelyn Fowler out to compete.
Here she is going into her opening tumbling pass, which is a round up the handspring double pike. Some people say, oh, there's lots of springs in the floor. That's how y'all can, get so high and do the gymnastics. But really, it's not springy like a trampoline. Of course, it's not as hard as the concrete or floor, but the springs really don't help that much. It's all about technique and form and proper takeoff for each tumbling pass.
And it's very important because injuries can and do occur in this sport, don't they?
They do. As we mentioned earlier tonight, 3 of Alabama's key gymnasts are out due to injuries. The sport of gymnastics itself just has a huge demand on your body physically, and it even does mentally. A lot of people say gymnastics is 80% mental. It's just all about confidence, and sometimes your mind can play games with you with fear factors or whatnot. Now that leap jump combination right there was slightly incomplete. She was supposed to do a straddle jump with a full twist and probably did about a 3/4 of a twist. Last pass here, front layout, front half. I believe she's supposed to do a front full there. You can tell she kind of stumbled out of that, and the score will definitely reflect it. Take a look at it again. Front layout, she's a little loose on the takeoff. Almost went out of bounds there, but definitely didn't get that out of bounds.
And now this is Auburn's A.J. Mills taking her turn on the beam.
Good turn there, getting ready for her series. Handspring by handspring layout. And Rochelle Thompson, the co-head coach with Jeff Thompson's husband and wife team, they work really hard on all the events, but beam especially, just doing routines in a row. The assignment might be a certain number of routines that you have to perform in a row, and that just helps build the consistency of hitting each skill as well as the confidence like I mentioned earlier. Here's her forward skill, front aerial, just straddle jump. The front aerial, you actually lose sight of the beam. So it's a blind landing. Dismount here, gainer by handspring into a gainer full. And Auburn tonight is just rocking beam. They're so solid. You can tell they've worked hard in the gym and they're just confident tonight, just owning the beam.
And the 6,800 plus fans at Beard Eves Memorial Coliseum, a lot to cheer about in this rotation. Now we head back to the floor with Alabama's Ashley Priest.
Ashley's opening up with a 2.5 punch front. A little low on the landing. You saw that she landed in a squat. We're going to land more standing up in a vertical position. She has a really unique style of dancing. So I hope you're entertained at home as you're watching her. Can't tell if she went out of bounds right there. We'll be able to tell on the score. If not, then she came quite close. Now, sometimes the gymnasts actually help do the choreography of the routine, as well as the coaches, and sometimes teammates chime in as well. But you definitely can tell she has, you know, her own style of dance, so maybe she possibly could have helped make this routine up.
Demonstrates the artistry involved in the sport, doesn't it?
Very much so. Artistic as well as the powerfulness of gymnastics. Deep breath here in the corner. Last pass here. 1.5 twist. Well, from what we saw in warm-up, she's supposed to do a round off. You see here, 1.5 into a forward flip of either a tuck or a front layout position. And like I mentioned tonight, this could just be lack of endurance, being the first meet.
And now here's Auburn's Lindsey Puckett on the beam.
I have a hard time watching Lindsey on all the events, but I would think beam would be the most one that I would get nervous watching. Here's her series, handspring layout. There is a fall for Auburn. Uncharacteristic for Lindsey. She was going to do a 3-flight series, which was a back handspring layout, a little off, as you can see, and they're going to have to count this as a fall.
Really the only blemish on an outstanding night, too.
Yes, she's looked great so far, very solid in all 3 of the events. Now, once you fall off the event, as disappointed as you are and as frustrated as you are, knowing how hard you work in the gym and all you have is one routine to show the night of competition, you have to recompose yourself, get back up on the event, and finish strong, trying to avoid giving away any more deductions, because a fall is already going to be a 5/10 deduction. So her routine starts from a 10-0, and they're already going to start it out as a 9-5. Here's the dismount here. Very powerful. Round off, double back, and stuck the dismount. There's that fall again. But which is great, you know, if the teammate falls, you only count 5 scores. So the Auburn team will be able to throw out that fall.
A strong finish nonetheless by Lindsey Puckett. Now we head back over to the floor. Alabama's Morgan Dennis, a 2008 All-American who boasts a career high on the floor of 9.95.
Watch his opening pass here. Double layout. Beautiful. As I mentioned before, the difficulty of the skills is graded from A to E. E being the most difficult, A being the easiest skill. A double layout is an E skill. Second pass here, front tuck into a double back. And she went out of bounds as well. Now when you go out of bounds, after the judges tally up your score, after they get the final score, they take a 10th off the final score to take that deduction for stepping out of bounds. Sometimes a gymnast will go out of bounds, they might run too far into the corner, the pass might be a little too powerful and they might not know spatially where they are in their landing, or sometimes it's actually they step out due to a mistake or a flaw in the pass. Last pass here, she ends with a double tuck. Now you see how I mentioned before, on a backwards pass, you want to land stepping backwards. She actually landed stepping forwards, that showed incompletion of the skill. But other than that, good performance on the floor from Alabama.
And through 3 rotations, Auburn holding on to a very slim margin against their rivals from Alabama. Can they hold on? We'll find out coming up next on CSN. And we head to the 4th and final rotation. Alabama on the beam with Brittany McGee. And Courtney, as we mentioned going to break a moment ago, Alabama trailing Auburn slightly here. Auburn hoping to end this streak, but I tell you, Alabama's been there many times before. See how the Tide handles things here in the final rotation.
Well, Alabama, knowing they are behind going into this rotation, they made a lineup change. And, you know, we don't know why, for what reason, but obviously Sarah and David and their coaching staff decided that they needed to make a lineup change to be as strong as they can on their final event. It's said in the gymnastics world that beam is the make it or break it event for the competition. You have home team advantage, ending on floor, crowd being behind you, Coliseum being loud, and when you end on beam, the nerves are there, you know the pressure's on, especially when you're slightly behind, that every routine counts and you cannot give away any mistakes. Here's our dismount. Round off 1.5. Solid start here. Here's a gainer, one arm back handspring, layout, step out. Series that we haven't seen tonight.
And now Auburn taking their turn on the floor. Carmen Nelms.
Carmen's opening up with a huge double pike. As I mentioned before, last year the only event she competed was bars. In the 2007 season, she had a career-ending or season-ending injury for that year. Had major surgery on her ankle, came back last year, competed on bars, and now she's healthy and strong and doing a great job tonight on floor. Leap combination here, torsion half into a popa. Popa is actually a straddle jump with a full twist in the air. Last pass here, double tuck. Solid. We're gonna see on this last rotation, it is going to be neck and neck. Auburn and Alabama, each competitor battling it out. The coach is knowing how close it is too, and the scores that each gymnast needs.
Nice routine by Nelms. Now we head back over to the beam. Alabama's Casey Overton.
This is the only event that you've seen Casey compete in. She as well has been battling some injuries, so she's been out. But hoping to get back into the lineup as the season progresses. The jump that she just performed right there is actually called a sheep jump. Both knees bent in the back, and she actually loses sight of the beam and then brings her head back forward. People have commented to me before, where do people come up with these names that you call the skills in gymnastics? Some of the skills are actually performed and named after the competitor that's competed in them. In order to have a skill named after you, have to compete them in a national championship meet. You have to perform the skill properly, and then it's named after you. Or whatever name that you want to call the skill. Dismount here, back handspring into a gainer full. Another routine down from Alabama.
And now back to the floor with Auburn's Katie Hurley. And you know, Courtney, you mentioned one goal here is to use the entire floor, but obviously with the white being out of bounds, how important is it to push the envelope in your routine?
Well, a lot of it is up to whoever choreographs your routine, and the choreographer then just uses their own talent and ideas that they have choreographing the routine, making sure that you're hitting all the corners of the floor, and then using the side pass in the middle and just you know, clearing the entire floor. Second pass here. Round off whip half, granny. So leap pass. As a torsion take full. Floor is definitely an event that requires strong endurance. The routine can be up to 1 minute and 30 seconds. Usually they're around 1 minute 18 to 1 minute 20. Last pass here, there's 2.5 twists and a fall on the landing. So now the pressure is on for the rest of the girls in the lineup to hit, and not only to hit, but to hit a perfect routine so they do not have to count any low scores.
Alabama trying to take advantage on the beam. Now Caitlin Sullivan for the tie.
Nice scale, graceful pose there. Shows flexibility. Huge wobble there. Wow, Nikki, it is neck and neck. I'm getting nervous for both teams here.
Is that a lot of chalk we see?
That is chalk on her shin, yes. Chalk is obviously used on the bars to help stay on the bar, help your grip. And then some girls put it on their hands, their feet, just anywhere that kind of, they might be a little sweaty. That might kind of sound gross, but just to kind of, there was a major wobble there. Huge arm swing backwards. Yeah, but the chalk just is kind of a grip between your skin and the apparatus that you're on. Here's the dismount. Gainer full. Gainering off the side of the beam in a full twist in the air.
And as the tension builds at Beard East Memorial Coliseum, final rotation, midway point, Auburn with a slim lead heading into this rotation, and now Claire Seifert takes the floor for the Tigers.
Claire's a senior this year, opening up with a double pike. Quite short on that landing. Claire was a walk-on her freshman year and then earned a scholarship and has competed for Auburn on floor, and she usually competes vault. Like I mentioned before, only 6 girls compete, so really it's the top 6 girls on that team that compete the event. She's battled with an elbow injury too, so that could be why they've held her out of the vault lineup. All of these, the dance pose in the corner is just kind of biding time, catching your breath, especially for the last pass. Here it is, round off our front handspring Rudy. And a Rudy is a front twist in the layout position with a 1.5 twist. Let's take a look at this first pass. Strong round of the handspring. Just a little, like leaning slightly backwards on the takeoff. That could be the reason for the shortage of the rotation.
And now here's Alabama's Ricky Lebergren on the beam.
Ricky's series here. Handspring layout. That full turn, most gymnasts, it's the easiest skill, but it's the skill that most gymnasts wobble on or sometimes even fall on. It's what people say, the dreaded full turn. Switch side. Strong dance. To side semi. On beam, you have to have two of the 3 skills, a forward, side, or back skill. So you have to have 2 of those. There's a little balance check there. Another little balance check. Some judges catch the balance checks on the beam and they give a deduction. Some don't. There was a leg cross in the air. It's gymnastics, it's really up to the judges. It's in the judges' hands of what the performer's going to get.
And now Auburn on the floor with Rachel Ennis. And, you know, Courtney, in a meet this tight and a rival of this nature and getting down to the end, what's going through the minds of the gymnasts at this point?
Well, speaking for myself, but really for probably most gymnasts, is you tell yourself, okay, every day in the gym, I might do 2 or 3 of these on the floor, or sometimes I might do 6 to 8 beam routines, or whatever the assignment is on each event. And so in a meet, you just tell yourself, this is just another routine in the gym. You block out the crowd, you get in the zone, and you just picture yourself in your practice gym doing the routines that you do day in and day out. And I'm actually coaching at the club team that I went to, and I tell the girls that it's their time to shine. It's their time to show everybody and the judges how hard they've worked and how hard they've trained. And in a way, I tell them you kind of be a snob. Like you show it off, you present yourself confidently, and just show everyone how hard you work. Last pass here, double tuck, little forward on the landing. But what a fun routine, what a powerful routine. The crowd was definitely into her music as well as I was. Great choice of music by Auburn this year.
And I think Rachel fed off the crowd as well during her routine. And now back to the beam. And here is Geraldine Stack-Eaton for Alabama.
Switch legs to zone. What's her leap? Getting ready for the series here. Back handspring layout. So you have a lot of, you call them single flight skills from Alabama, which is just 2 skills. Lindsay Puckett as well as AJ Mills and the other girls from Auburn, you saw 3 flight, which is showing more difficulty and more risk they're actually taking on the beam. And the judges should and usually reward that, the more risk that is taken. That was called an anoti. It's actually a back handspring with a half twist into a front walkover. As well as any move on the beam, that move especially, you have to be very precise on the timing and takeoff. Dismount there, round off 1.5 twist. Let's take a look at this anoti again. Beautiful. Just perfect.
And back to the floor for the Auburn Tigers, AJ Mills. And Courtney, everyone's familiar with the Auburn-Alabama football rivalry, but how much does that rival issue transcend over into the sport of gymnastics? Are these girls thinking, hey, especially from Auburn's perspective, we're in position tonight to break this streak? Does that rivalry come into play?
Oh, most definitely, and especially going into the last event, knowing how close it is. It's just, you can just taste it. You can just taste the victory. And I know especially when I was there too, that was our goal for the 4 years that we were there, was to beat them too, and we came very close. Every year, every season, Auburn gets closer and closer and closer, and tonight I believe it's the closest they probably have ever been. Second pass there, front handspring front layout from full. Quite entertaining with her routine as well. Now every gymnast, they make the sport, they make each skill look so easy and so simple, but it takes a lot to get it to look that way. A lot of hard work, a lot of hours in the gym, a lot of sweat and tears to reach perfection, which is ultimately what this sport is all about.
And you can sense the crowd enthusiasm building as this final rotation winds down. Last 2 competitors now back to the beam. Alabama's Ashley Priest.
Ashley's front aerial into a back handspring swing down. And that move looks like it hurts as well, but it's properly performed and trained. And on any event, you take different steps when you're learning a new skill. You do a lot on the floor, you might do a lot with a spot, you do a lot, like, for example, on beam, you'll start out on the low beam, and then you might work up different heights of the beams with mats underneath the beam, and then that was a beautiful move, full twisting swing down. but you take different steps as you're learning a skill, one for safety and two to build confidence and to learn the skill properly. Gymnastics is a sport that it's very much muscle memory, and once you do a skill improperly and you do it a few times, the habit's formed, and it is real difficult to break that muscle memory and to break the habit you've already performed. Dismount here, round off, double full. Quite a large step on that landing. Here again, it's a full twisting swing down. That's a skill too, you just have to be very precise on.
And now here's Auburn's Lindsay Puckett with her floor routine.
Getting ready for an opening pass. She's opening up with a front tuck through to a double back. You'll notice her shin taped, you'll notice her ankle taped, little wrist guards on the wrist. All the competitors, as we mentioned before, injuries, and you have some bumps and bruises and some bangs ups, and so you tape them. It's a requirement that you have to have the tape be of your flesh color. So it's not a distraction, and it's not something that's an eyesore that just stands out. Here's a new pass for Lindsay, round off, whip half, Rudy.
Now, how much influence did you have with your sister's routine here, Courtney?
Not really any influence in her routine. We, in our relationship, just like to keep it. Gymnastics is in the gym. You know, if she has anything that she needs to talk about or any frustration or need encouragement, I'm definitely there for her. But gymnastics is so much a part of your life, it's sometimes fun to, you know, talk about other things. But I'm so proud of her and proud of her career and just the talent that she's been given and then how she's used it. First pass again. Oh, excuse me, last pass, round handspring, double pike. A little short on that landing too.
Well, it's been neck and neck all night, and it came down to the final competitor. Was Auburn able to break the streak, or would Alabama notch another victory? We'll find out coming up next.
And the big story tonight down on the Plains, Alabama keeps the streak going against Auburn. Courtney, another close contest.
Oh, so close. .075. I don't think you can get any closer. But, you know, both teams really came out. They really showed themselves. Auburn came out with a fight. Alabama with not their full, you know, competitors. They didn't have their full